Welcome back, everybody. Great to see everyone for another day of Age of Empires 2 casting. Today we continue the first round matchups of Group J from the Pick Your Poison tournament. Before we head into the games, another reminder to check out the tournament pages, the Discord. You can enter the command !PYP and all the relevant links are there. Huge shoutouts again to Daniela, Komi, and the guys for organizing the event. And as a reminder, I myself will be playing in this one, in this very group, in fact. Maybe I will be playing against the victor of this match at some point down the line, but that remains to be seen. Either way, let's jump into it then. No need to delay this any further. Game 1 between these two guys, Katie and BenImortal. Remember, guys, this is Group J. It's the lowest ELO group in the entire tournament, so we are looking for some exciting, noob-friendly gameplay right here. Seed 8 against Seed 9 should be a very even matchup. Let's see how it plays out in practice. And for today, I've also brought some nice Civ overviews in case somebody wants a quick reminder on how these two Civs, well, typically are played or what their bony are, most importantly. So for the Vikings, after the Gambazons patch with the small Berserk buffs as well and the revamping of the unique tags, it's again a very good Arabia Civ, or just a very good Civ in general, I would say. We can see KT here playing as them. Some trouble with the sheep placement under the TC, but it's looking all good for him so far. He's got the nice back gold as well. Oh, this is such a nice map. Look at this. It's so wallable. You just need that one house wall at the front of your base. You can easily wall off the side as well. Looks like a nice map for Vikings if you want to take a little bit of a slower approach. And then on the other side, let's also show the bony for the Burgundians, an expansion civ. So somebody here who has invested $1 or $2 for those new civs. Let's see how those play out in practice. Of course, they're a very famous arena civ, but here in Arabia can definitely do some damage as well. You see the bony on screen right here. The eco upgrades being available earlier is of course a huge bonus. Their map, however, not as easily wallable, at least not early on, as the Vikings, so let's see how BenImortal deals with this one. I don't know how these games turn out, by the way. I haven't been spoiled for the results. I've somehow managed to avoid that, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays out too. That being said, let's remove the Civ Bony from the screen at this point. Maybe you can see the relic bonus is also quite nice there. In general, it's just a great Civ for eco. So two eco power houses going up against each other in this matchup. Now, early on, while I've been doing all this talking, it doesn't look like there's been a lot of action taking place. Just people scouting. So far, I don't think they've spotted each other just yet. Maybe, no, it doesn't look like it, does it? As we can see, the Vikings pretty much confined to their own borders. Maybe looking to push those tier eventually, although for now, KT occupied with getting that elephant underneath his TC. And now starting to eat that one as well. No laming there. Good to see people making sure they get these. Also, good catch there by BenImortal, making sure not to miss out on that second sheep after finding the first one. Has still not found those additional two here. So maybe for our Byzantine or Burgundian player, pardon me, he's a bit slower there with this scouting. We'll see how that, how that turns out for him. Again, I don't expect a whole lot of action early on here. We have 5 on wood for the Vikings, which is quite surprising. On the other hand, 5 on wood as well for the Burgundians. I'm not sure if this is some sort of build that I'm not aware of. Maybe they're just doing this because they are looking to wall a whole lot. That could be an explanation. We see the walls coming out for KT right here. Not sure I love the wall placement here with the berries. Could possibly have incorporated that a little bit more efficiently. Either way, he's going to look to make sure he's not getting rushed here by anything as he brings in that second board as well. Now also starts mining gold very early on. So this could actually be a fast castle type of play as well. Although that being said, he's already picking up loot. That could be because he's housed, or maybe he's just now headed to the next age and looking to make some archers. What do we know? Although, no, I was just gonna say maybe he's only going for that 10 gold pickup in order to get some militia out, and well, but then again that wouldn't make a lot of sense unless he wouldn't even look to upgrade those. Either way, long story short, he's transitioning more onto gold. It's not going to be a dry fast castle, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he actually ended up playing a very short feudal age overall. Whereas on the other side for the Burgundians, we can see right here, still no feudal age being queued. So this looks like much more of a fast castle approach to me. Otherwise, why would you stick around this long in age number 1? Just now getting the barracks up as well. Let's see, maybe he's looking for some men-at-arms type of play. Of course, for the Vikings, remember, I just showed the bony a second ago. They have the extra infantry HP starting in feudal age, so that could definitely be interesting, seeing if they can make any plays around that, if they are looking to at least put out a couple of militia to annoy the opponent. It doesn't even necessarily have to go for the men-at-arms upgrade if he doesn't want to, but just having the option is nice. And of course, want to utilize the bony if at all possible. Look at these walls. It's just such awkward walling. And I don't like those walls at all, because he's trying to protect his gold, but these walls aren't even sufficient in doing that. If you're looking to mine gold from the west or from the south, the archers can still range you there, the Viking crossbows, easily. Vikings, of course, getting fully upgraded arbalists, minus thumb ring, about to lose the scout, though no dodges coming in there. And that's costly. The early scout losses definitely can be big, and the chat coming in, BenImortal with the banter, I would even say, and KT just giving him the smiley face. He's not getting provoked by that. He's probably seen what he needed to see. Let's check this out. Oh no, he's barely seen anything. All he knows is that it's not walled yet. Doesn't see the berries, doesn't see the gold. Oh, that's terrible luck for him. At least he knows the deer haven't been pushed, if that tells him anything, but yeah, it's kinda unfortunate, and I have to question BenImortal's build here. To be honest, he's going still none on gold, so it's not a fast castle type approach, unless he wants to sell all of his stone, which of course he could do. A lot of walling here, not even all that efficient. So I don't like his build necessarily. I don't like the approach to his walling either. He's investing a lot of villages though, so he's making sure that the walls go up. Bit of an excessively close mining camp for my liking there. But you do you, guys. It's always funny to see the little intricacies, or well, the quirks that players have. Archers out already, double range archers with the 4 on gold. I didn't see that big of an investment coming from KT, but he's getting some archers out onto the map now, and the opposing scout still alive, able to spot that and move back home. Let's see if there's a reaction from BenImortal. He's going double stables. I don't like that. I feel like it's a little bit too late for that. At this point, if you don't have any units out yet, which he doesn't, he's just got a few scouts queued in that first stable, I feel like it's more efficient to go for some skirmishes. Otherwise, that gold is possibly going to be denied, although this is pretty conservative mining, pretty safe. Let's see if KT is able to spot that at some point. He's, for now, just checking the front. I don't think he's clicked into the base yet. Brings even a spearman along. I like that. I like the caution. He doesn't know, of course, if his opponent's gone for stable or for archery range opening, but I guess just suspecting the stable is reasonable here, and bringing the spearman along can go a long way. Fully walled, however. are the Burgundians, so it's going to be difficult to find a whole lot of damage. The gate coming out now for BenImortal, and he's spotting the archers. The archers are spotting him as well, though, and the gate doesn't go up, so he can't actually move out right now. He's trying to force up the gate, but I don't think this is going to end well for the Burgundians in case they commit here. I wouldn't recommend going for that. Ah, and he just throws away that villager. There was no need to do that. Ends up deleting the palisade on the side anyways, and now he's got to make the decision whether or not to sneak around. He could also try and catch up that army, but at this point, with the numbers being so high, that would be a bad trade for him to take. Vikings end up coming in, and he's fully idled here on gold. Just has to abandon it. So short of getting to Castle Age 2, he's missing that, oh, well, short of the gold required for Castle Age. Now both stables not producing. This opening has definitely not gone the way that BenImortal probably imagined it to go. The archers continue sniping away at those villagers fletching in already. Even the armor on the spearmen. So that is just very disciplined cookie cutter play from the Vikings, and a very desperate tower by the Burgundians. I don't like this one at all. It barely protects anything. Not even fully protects the woodline. Doesn't protect the berry. Oh no, it's looking terrible for BenImortal. It looks like KT, the slight favorite in this match, according to seeding, is taking some good trades early on, although here in comes the dive into the TC. In terms of EQ KD, you can see the damage though. It's 8-1 for KT. He's not breaking a sweat just because of that. Interesting how the scouts ended up getting in here. Maybe there's a hole in the east, which precisely there is, but I don't think I'm all that worried about that if I'm KT here. This absolutely useless tower has gone up, and now BenImortal, unable to steal stone to get to Castle Age, somehow was able to get some more gold, so at least that, but he's miles away from Castle. He doesn't have a response ready. Can't even mine wood at this point, and that's just way too many archers in his base. I feel like he's just going to get suffocated here, although no spearmen accompanying those archers. Although, never mind, there's two of them there, so he just didn't pay attention enough to take a proper engagement. At least gets onto the hill and still takes a good trade here. I don't see BenImortal recovering from this one, guys. Ah, it's disaster for the Burgundians here. Really, the Vikings playing this one really nicely and disciplined. Love to see it. Now, even having defended against the enemy attack. Now, albeit he has idled a lot of his eco, but killing the enemy eco definitely more than makes up for that. The worker efficiency is through the bottom, through the floor for both of these guys, but it doesn't matter there. If I'm the Vikings, I'm just going full throttle, pedal to the metal, pushing this one ahead. Now the desperation mining camp on the stone coming out. He needs more towers, is I think what he's considering at this point. But I commend the discipline not to throw in the towel early on here, but don't see a way back as things stand right now. All those archers in him. Well, I don't see a way back the way he's approaching it, is how I should put it. It's looking quite difficult for him, to be frank. I like the fact that Vikings are splitting their army, making sure no gold is being taken, and still scouting around the back, making it difficult for Ben to get to those resources anywhere. Even the gold in the bottom, not reachable. And these trades that he's been taking into the spearmen, they are just all but desperate here. Inefficient for sure. Even some villagers having to permanently garrison this tower in order to do any damage to the Vikings. Getting some nice shots in it now, but still unable to clear up that stack now. Pulling together those forces are the Vikings, and I feel like at this point, if I'm Ben, what am I even gonna do, right? I can't even clear up this. I think I was a bit too stubborn not to go for that archery range once he realized he was late on the armory production. Still ended up going for that second stable, and he's paying the price right here before our eyes. Even more villagers going down. It's a 27-14 KD, 13-4 eco KD. Is this it? I'm not sure. At least he's opened up that second wood line now that the Vikings were forced to pull together their troops. And slowly but surely the eco opens back up for the Burgundians, but at what cost? As we see the Vikings almost up to Castle Age already. Even upgrading those to crossbowmen, some pikemen as well, would make it nigh impossible to even clean this one up. You'd need some knights, and I don't see Burgundians getting there. Siege weapons, of course, could be an alternative, but again, Castle Age is required for that. And with 5 on food here, there's no avenue, frankly, for Ben to get there. Trying to get up another tower, and again, it's the only spot that he can put it in safely, but it doesn't protect everything. Yeah, at least the stone is sort of safe now, but even more scouts being thrown away here. This is a rough look, I can't lie. KT now even using the market here. He's in this one here. He's fully mentally checked in, I can tell. Doing a good job. Still pushing that advantage. Even queuing up some skirmishes. I wonder what that could be caused by, since there's no range up by the Burgundians. Maybe he just wants to stand under the tower fire. Interesting choice. Maybe it was a misclick too. Yet more archers coming up. Only 2 of them survived. Maybe could have done a little bit of a better job not throwing away the army before getting to Castle Age. But that's just, yeah, that's just me being picky. Now we have more villagers coming forward. That's going to be their forward castle. And surely that's going to seal the deal, isn't it? Spearmen here to defend the castle going up. Even with the house walls, Ben comes in with the GG, recognizes the hilariousness of this situation, and 1-0 up is KT, taking the victory here with the Vikings. Props to him. He, of course, is the slight favorite in this one. And let's see where the series goes from here. It was a pretty quick game here, and maybe down to the map a little bit as well. Maybe BenImortal was banking on a little bit of a more forgiving map, making it easier for him to wall. Let me, where can I? Let me just transition here real quick. Right. Next game should be this one. Give me just a second as I'm loading up the recording. Trying to get everything in place. And I like what I'm seeing today again after yesterday's set. I'm still positively surprised in a good way here by the level of play that I've been seeing. Let's jump right into game 2. Sure, why not? There we go with the transition. This is game 2 now between these two guys. KT up 1-0. He's playing as the Cumans here on Golden Swamp, up against the Lithuanians for BenImortal. Lithuanians traditionally a civ that have done quite well on water maps, so maybe he's more happy with the civ that he ended up getting here. Let's check out the civ Bo3 again, starting with the Cumans here on the left side, which is a civ that I very much love. They've got that super quick cavalry, and they get faster, so quicker in movement speed as long well, the longer the game progresses. With every age you get some more movement speed on those cavalry, so that's what I really love about them. And also with the option to drop a feudal age town center, I like this on this map as well. You've got all the rest so close together. The second town center can get a lot of value there. Of course, you need to be able to sustain that, both in terms of food income as well as in terms of, well, defending it with army. Well, the food income shouldn't be a problem for them, since the fish on this map provide some decent amount of extra food, but defending against the Lithuanians could be a problem in case they go for some type of fast castle play. On the other side, let's check out what the Lithuanians have to offer. got BenImortal needing a victory here. Remember, it's a best of 3, as you can see at the top of the screen right there. So BenImortal needs this win to stay alive in the tournament. Otherwise, he'll be out in round 1, and that's definitely not the start he was looking for. Playing as the Lithuanians, great cavalry civilization. I feel like it's also pretty beginner friendly. You've got decent trash units with the extra movement speed, and then you've got, of course, that knight bonus. And playing with strong knights is just so much more forgiving and easy for lower Edo players such as myself. So actually, getting a few relics should go a long way for him in order to take control of this one. He's got 2 relics relatively close to his base, which he's going to be very happy about. You can see here in the north. That's one right here. And then the other one in the south that we just looked at. Yeah, just want to make sure everybody's in the clear. On the other side, we've also got 2 relics quite close to his opponent. KT should be able to secure those, or at least deny them from his enemy. Where's the 5th one, though? It's in the middle usually, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. So we'll see how BenImortal is going to be able to play around those. Other than that, I still like Lithuanians. I already mentioned the food bonus, which makes it a pretty decent civ on water maps traditionally, although it has been nerfed in the early game. As you can see, only 100 extra food with your starting town center. So you're not as quick to get going anymore. We'll see what type of play he's looking for. Now getting the dock up, whereas the Cumans haven't been able to do so just yet. They are fully relying on land so far, which is a bit surprising to me. Getting the dock out nice and early for BenImortal, and I wonder what the build is going to look like on the other side. Wow, he's even taken away some of the sheep here. The buffalo, excuse me. Katie looking to reclaim those. It looks like BenImortal's not going to fight over them. Maybe if I'm him, I'm trying to snipe him and take him out, but at least able to delay here. Idle some eco. You see that is reflected in the worker efficiently, also slightly. And all those buffalo now being retrieved by KT. Was a bit of a scare there for a second. And some good distraction for sure. Coming in. Now we see BenImortal pulling ahead in terms of eco numbers, both because KT is housed, and it looks like pretty badly. Has he not started? His TC is not working. He doesn't have a house going up right now. Unless I'm missing it. Oh boy, he's seriously stressed out, I feel like. Maybe that buffalo play had a greater effect than I had anticipated. And look at the idle TC time for KT here. He must have thought he's already clicked up to feudal, but no, he was missing the mill after all. So he wasn't even intending to make another villager. Of course, he was just trying to get up to the next stage, but it was a long time coming for that mill. So he's now quite a bit behind here of his opponent, who himself hasn't even clicked up to feudal age just yet. But look at the eco numbers. He's got a pretty decent lead there. That 1 minute of idle TC time so early on is less than ideal, to be sure. Some house warning coming up from KT. Looks like he's not quite sure. Maybe it's not his most comfortable map. Remember, it's game 2, so that's the loser of game 1's home map, meaning BenImortal's home map. So it's not a huge surprise that he would be more comfortable on this one than KT could be. Let's see if he's got any aces up his sleeves, though. We saw yesterday the underdog player on this map with very aggressive and well thought out play, able to take away the victory. Maybe KT is going to be able to do the same. So far, he's quite a bit behind there, only now getting to feudal age. BenImortal housed, but also on his way to feudal age. 1.5 minutes later, but with a lot more eco getting there, already up 10 villages, which is pretty much unheard of at this stage of the game. And I wonder what the idea here is. Look at these walls. I mean, Come on, these are some janky walls, aren't they? I mean, what are we walling here for, Ben? Just like last game, I feel like if he did a bit more scouting, thought about his walls a bit better, or was a bit more conservative with his walls as well, both of those things I think could be good for him. Instead, he's going for these kind of ridiculous walls again. I wonder what the rationale is behind this. He surely must have thought about this one. Even leaving a one-tile gap here is an interesting choice. Wonder if that is intentional or what if he's just looking to leave some space open for himself. Either way, he's still ahead in a great position. This one, 6 eco up, still no dock for the humans. Maybe they're looking for some full-on land aggression. I wonder though, because he's now reached the feudal age, Katie has, and he's not going to be able to drop a second town center because he doesn't have the food eco to sustain it. He's banked a lot of food up, but it's looking more like he's actually just looking to go straight for the castle age. He's putting up the market. He's got the relatively conservative house walls, very secure at home. He's now put all of them on wood, but again idling his TC because he really wants to click up to castle age here. He sent lone villagers into the middle, it looked like, to pick up some gold. Maybe he was intending on dropping a town center here and then thought differently. I really wonder what that was all about. Either way, he's looking to get up to castle age, and I must have missed that second building. Oh, there's the blacksmith. I confused that with a house. So he's on his way up to castle, way behind in eco, and I wonder if that is really the best play if you're the humans. Maybe it's his way of trying to deny them the relics from the enemy. Maybe he's trying to get those monks out onto the map first, but I don't think that's the way to do it typically. Now on the way to Castle Age, but with almost 3 minutes of idle TC time already. KT, looks like it's going to be a bit difficult for him to close out this series just yet. Either way, he's getting that juicy gold town center in the middle of the map right now. Kind of risky, he doesn't have the army to really support that, but so far both of these players have left each other alone. Very conservative walls coming out for the humans, and the TC in the middle now being spotted by the scout from BenImortal. Looks like he's gonna be the one to suffer some losses here though. The human scout with the extra movement speed, remember, he's coming for you, and this scout there is a goner. Look at him. He's gonna be taken out here. Don't do it! Oh. Yeah, alright, so he spotted the enemy TC, but he gave up his life for it. Let's see if it's gonna be worthwhile for BenImortal, who's also on his way to Castle Age. He's putting up that stable, but once he's getting there, he's got a 10 eco lead, so he should really crush at this point. 2 town centers up for KT, excuse me. A lot of villagers on gold, but he doesn't have the food economy to support all of these town centers going up. He's going for Stab Lancers here, which is a play that I like to do myself as well. Fast castle into Stab Lancers, but despite those Stab Lancers being beautiful and very fast in movement speed, look at this, 1.6 ms, that is pretty fast. Don't think this is the best type of game for them, although these are really good at taking out enemy fishing ships. So that is pretty good on this map. Maybe something that I should note as well, if I ever have the chance, I might lean into Step Lancers on this map as well, because I love taking out some fishing ship with them. The issue is on the other side, you've got some knights, and Step Lancers don't trade well into enemy knights, especially since the numbers probably going to be quite even here, since the eco is so much better for the Lithuanians. Typically, the Step Lancers are going to be bigger in number, because you have a super short creation time on them. But in this case, with the good eco there from the Lithuanians, I feel like they should be able to keep up with the army production. In terms of villager numbers, maybe these guys can slowly start closing that gap. However, both town centers currently idle for KT. I really have to question his overall strategy here. The knights coming out for the top. It looks like he's just sneaking around or scouting for maybe for relics, for additional town centers, maybe just getting a good raid in. However, now he's the one being rated first, and a lot of steplessness in your eco is the last thing you want to see here. If you're BenImortal, man, you're in such a good position. Don't throw away the series here. You're down 1-0. If you lose this game, you're completely out of the tournament. Oh, all of these folks forced to retreat into the town center. That's a lot of idle eco, as well as 7 villager kills right there. Wow, I seriously underestimated the damage that this attack did. But only 4 fishing ships, 29 villagers remaining for BenImortal. That was a good raid there by KT. He knows what he's doing here, although the macro is a bit janky. He's done a terrific job in this area so far. Now he's taking a bad trade into these knights. He should really consider running. You're human. You've got the quicker cavalry. Make use of that movement speed, my guy. And he gets on out of there. Love to see it. Look at this. 1.49 movement speed for the knights, but 1.6 for the step lancers. Again, why are you fighting this, though? You don't need to take these trades. Oh, an equal number fight with step lancers into knights is not what you want to see. At least not in this... with these kind of numbers. Camels coming out for the humans now as well. Oh, no. That's not what I like to see here. These single file units streaming into the enemy base. It looks like after that great raid there for the humans, KT got a little bit overzealous and is starting to take some worse trades at this point. Well, he's still not able to put his town centers to work. Look at the idle TC time comparatively between these two guys. It's much worse for KT. I know he's got two TCs, but he's got way more than double the idle TC time, and the knights are now starting to come forward to try and raid. I didn't quite catch what happened with the knights in the north. Probably those were the ones that ended up fending off the lancer attack. Still with the very peculiar wars up in the north that I can't really get behind. Speaking of getting behind, BenImortal getting behind KT's base here. I like the approach that he's got. He's trying to always get to the opponent's eco from the back, and by doing that, he's also passively scouting a lot of the map in the process. So that is pretty smart. He's now finding out that the enemy is in fact fully walled though, so it's going to be difficult to break in. Is he going to find a way though? Oh, the berries have been overpicked. And down go 2 villagers. The Lithuanians merciless here. Taking out those berry wells. Good attention there. Doesn't end up committing though. Doesn't want to get trapped inside there. Probably good idea. You really want to start massing those knights, or at least keeping them on the map in order to keep map control for the relic war that you really need to win here. Not a huge fan of this castle here. You definitely could have dropped it within range of the enemy town center in order to start shooting it down. You want to also get the relic control. Wonder why not just put a town center here and then go for a more aggressive castle after that. Either way, he's lacking a little bit in wood, so I guess didn't really have the option of going for that town center. I love the pikeman tech. Good choice there by BenImortal. You've got you've got the fast-moving pikeman, which is, of course, always very practical against enemy camels and such, against a very fast-moving camel, or cavalry civ, rather. So that could save himself a lot of trouble, although he is starting to lose out on that water control, just because he really doesn't have the numbers up, and only that 1 fishing ship remaining for him. He's picking up some military tracks here for the pikemen as well, so that's definitely going to be his primary answer for the enemy camels that have started to come in. Much more of a slower paced game than the first one, and he now follows up with the town center. A little bit of the reverse order than I would have liked, as he's gonna start to get raided. Again, I love the fact that KT's been the aggressor in this series all throughout and pushing the pace. Let's see if he can pull out before taking a bad trade here, and he does. The eco KT 12-2 is looking really good for KT, but the idle time that he's had makes more than up for this difference. Look at the numbers. More eco numbers for the Lithuanians, despite having had 1 less TC for most of this game, and losing so many villagers. And now the pikemen are starting to trade into the camels, but since the numbers are pretty high, it's a pretty decent trade. At least it's best type of trade you're gonna get with camels into pikes. And I don't think BenImortal was expecting this one to go as bad as it did. Oh, he's a bit low on food here if he wants to keep on producing knights and pikemen. Now pulling back with those knights, going to have to start attacking these camels with his knights, which is something you typically don't want to do. At least able to start chipping away at the enemy TC in the middle now. And that's going to be difficult for KT to reclaim. For now, he's going to be pushed off of the middle, trying to collect as much gold as he can before having to leave that area. Still, some singular pikemen being kind of thrown away here by BenImortal. Not the best army control. At least able to get that relic closer to his own base. That is not going to be able to be picked away by the humans, I don't think. And now the knights and the pikemen together are going to start cleaning up those camels, it looks like. Yeah, KT fully committing for this one. I don't think that was a great trade overall. That relic all but secured for Ben. Already picked up the one from the north, so that's 2 relics about to be in the bank. Lots of attack bony on those knights. And at this point, I feel like BenImortal is in a pretty good position right here. He's still a bit short on food, so maybe KT is even looking to go up to Imp rather soon. Don't think he's got the buildings quite yet, but in terms of resources, he's floating a lot. He's even buying stone now, so he wants to drop a castle for sure. Maybe a counter castle in the middle could be his answer. Although I don't see where he would exactly be dropping that. We'll see what his choice is gonna be. I'm curious, really, where are you gonna put that castle? That would be the best spot, the place where the stable's in right now. But don't think he's gonna put it there. At least doesn't look like it. Maybe just consolidating some of those resources at home. Consolidating control over those is what I mean. But no, it's a pretty weird castle. Obviously, he's trying to pressure away that town center, but yeah, it's a bit of an awkward spot. That relic here blocking some of the area as well. I feel him, but that's definitely not the type of castle I would love if I'm him. Doesn't look like either of these guys are big water players though, since nobody committing for more fishing ships or any navy at all. Maybe that could be quite effective as well. We'll see if that's going to change throughout the game, but both guys getting a castle up here, and Imp going to come in very shortly after that for BenImortal, who is still, or again, idling both of his TCs. Now clicking up to Imp, surely. There he goes. Imp TC is the one in the middle. He's repaired it up all the way. So he's gonna be there in 3 minutes, whereas BenImortal is still pretty far removed. He's got a little bit of an imbalanced eco. 1000 gold floating for him there. He's got the 2 relics in the bank though, so he's definitely not hating his spot by any means. He's gonna have to deal with that with that castle hitting his town center in the middle, however. So at this point, if you suspect the enemy is up to Imp, you might consider fully committing for Imp yourself, selling that stone, buying some food. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. He's realized he can't afford to lose a trap ore here, but with the eco being in absolute shambles for KT, I don't think he's going to be able to sustain the pressure with that Imp. Right, you want to get out some traps, get some good military upgrades, and then really start pushing. I don't see that happening for him with the with a 40 villager eco, excuse me. It's going to be a tough one, but he's going to be able to get there first, and by a long shot. Even despite the market abuse, it's 2 minutes and something faster than the Lithuanians here, who are of course going to arrive with a much better eco themselves. 30C has gone up at this point for Ben, and with some, again, very awkward walling here. It's can't quite wrap my head around that one. Even putting up a very forward town center at the top here with the very curious looking stone formation. I guess looking to branch out, get onto that one. Maybe preparing to give up the middle control for a while here, as he's gonna get pushed out there by that enemy castle. That arrow fire here, of course, definitely not gonna be able to be repaired against. I like the fact that Ben is just giving that TC up. He's in a better spot. You can see by his score that he's in a good situation here. So he's in no, he really doesn't need to throw away resources by trying to save this town center. Just build up behind it and then retake the middle control once you're strong enough to do so. I love the branching out with the multiple TCs on the bonus resources. It's the fourth one going up as one goes down in the middle. Treb coming out for the humans as well, and 40 seconds away from Imp is BenImortal. He needs to start saving up some of that wood though, in order to make some traps. He's really gonna need that. Don't really know what else he would make to take out the enemy castle and trebs. Monks coming out onto the map for Ben now. Maybe he's trying to sneak away the enemy relics that he has spotted early on. And looks like that is his target for now. Gets to Imp himself, but no wood to get out of the trap. And if he doesn't get one out before this castle falls, that is some serious neglect here. He's now starting to repair it, realizing he's been kind of a little bit asleep at the wheel here. And no, he doesn't even repair it. He's just going to let it drop. Oh, good choice at this point. This wasn't salvageable anymore, but I think he gave up more than he needed to in this middle. I agree with the choice of letting the TC go down, but just two traps in Imp. I feel like he's giving KT too much credit here. He knows that he's got a much better eco. KT's absolutely in shambles here. Look at this. He's still so far behind in terms of eco numbers. But just the two traps were able to take out enemy town center and castle. I feel like it's been he made it just a little bit too easy for KT to gain control of that middle back again. And he's loving his spot right here in the middle, although overall his spot in the game is a bit curious. This is super funny though. Look at these guys just chilling out together. Oh, he's moving in. He's making the first step. Let's see if the villagers tolerate him as one of them. All right, peaceful encounter there. Nothing to see. He's just gonna take that those holy bones away. Don't mind him. And it doesn't look like Katie has spotted it. Doesn't move on over with the camels. And that's the third relic for the Lithuanians. At this point, it's getting a little bit concerning. Giving up 3 relics is pretty big. We'll see how they fare with that. Oh, I don't know. Giving up all the control in the middle is a bit troublesome, though. I would love for KT to put up a second castle, maybe even. Although he really doesn't have the rest to do so. He needs to be very efficient with the way he spends his rest. And now even sends out the knights here. It looks like there were no attack stands or something, but now he's wreaking havoc in that wood line. Oh boy. Despite me being hardly able to convey what's going on here, BenImortal has absolutely cleaned up those villagers. How many kills was that? 21? No, that's surely not 21. 21, there must have been some of those camels from earlier included in that. But the Eco KD, 90 to 12, now in favor of the Lithuanians. And the camels, all of them were called back home, but too late. Just a little bit too greedy with the woodline here. Would have been a very easy wall to pull off as well. He had the stone too. At any point could have just drawn a wall here. Would have denied the enemy the relic and the access to your woodline. Of course, unless he wrapped around all the way in the north. Just made it a bit too easy for BenImortal to get in there. It looks like the underdog. The slight underdog. An underdog still though. Might be able to even up the series. We're still long way away from that though, as pikemen now starting to come out for KT as well. Of course, against enemy cavaliers, as he's seen. It's not the worst choice, although I thought he was faring quite well with the camels. I wonder why he's branching out into camels and pikemen. I feel like kind of a bit of a double whammy here. I wonder what those are for. Lithuanian halberdiers in already. We'll see if that does him any good. Even the cavalry upgrades starting to multiply here now. Stables producing more cavaliers for the Lithuanians. Look at those upgrades, 12 plus 4 with iron casting as well, having come in here. Remember, Lithuanians don't get the final attack upgrade, which is Blast Furnace, I believe. But they, of course, have their relic bonus. And with 3 relics being in that monastery, we see the plus 5 now for the cavalier. That's some strong cavalry there that I don't think the Cumans are that well equipped to deal with in terms of eco and just the Civ matchup as well. Got to see how that turns out. Hussar coming in for Katie, interesting. Wonder why that is. What is he looking to do with those Hussars? Just against the enemy monks, potentially, but I don't think Ben was going to lean that heavily into monks anyways. He's built himself up decent little economy up here in the north as well, getting all that free stone there. How much stone was that? Must have been 1050 stone. He's just freely able to take right there. 2000 stone banked up at this point. I wonder why he's not put up any more castles. He's got the one in the south, so that's maybe enough for him to get out some traps. But with the 2000 stone floating, I feel like just securing his eco a little bit with those castles would be a good point. It would be a good play. Maybe is saving up the stone though to secure the middle and then drop some forward castles, which is very much possible on this map with all the amphibious terrain here. How is KT going to respond? He's sending out the Hussars first with the last remaining Step Lancers to try and take out those traps, but with the Halberdiers coming in from BenImortal, surely you can't be surprised by that, KT. You saw the Halberdiers earlier. It was Pikemen in Castle Age. You know you didn't take him out, so what's your answer for that? And well, it's easy as that. He doesn't have one. He doesn't have anything against those Halberdiers, which are countering all of his units that he's got in the field right now. At least that one trap is pretty ambitious and just given away for free by BenImortal. So, not the worst trade in the world, but this is going to be a massacre, surely. All those upgraded Halberdiers doing so much work here. All the camels lay low, and at this point, the army is completely done for the Cumans. Look at the army value in the field. It's quadruple army value almost for BenImortal. 3 times that, in fact. 49 against 11 military units at this point, and yet more trebuchets coming out. Still almost double the eco as well. It's not looking too great. And now he's coming in with the forward castle. He's taken out the town center already, and Katie's castle is next. And he's kind of a little bit shell-shocked here. Look at him. He's kind of struggling. He's got the hussars and some. Is that? Oh, it's Kipjacks, of course. Some Kipjacks around, but nah, I don't think that's going to be the answer either against those Halberdiers, honestly. It doesn't look like he's absolutely confident in what to do. He's going to lose that castle repairing with a one single villager. That's basically just giving away free resources at this point. Having two women who don't feel like doing any manual labor today, I respect that. The man is definitely putting in the extra hours for them, but it's all in vain. He loses the stone and the castle, loses all the control over the middle, and Ben has come back with a vengeance here after being forcefully removed from the middle. Now, KT, at least he's not being inactive anymore, trying to get some raids in, but that's what I'm talking about. Those castles protecting the eco, that's some really good value there for the Lithuanians. Don't think they've gotten their unique tech yet with the, what is it called? The hill forts? There's some tech that allows town centers to well, defend your town better as Lithuanians, so maybe that could be a good idea here as well, but he just sends the army back in order to deal with that enemy raid. And Katie realizes this, just pulls back out. There's just no angle for him at this point to really harass anything. All those resources floating as well for Ben. He's loving it. He's got a lot of army in the field. He's at the pop cap, while his opponent isn't even at half of that. Neither the army nor the eco numbers are half as high as BenImortal's, and he's gonna start knocking on the door. Katie still no answer for the infantry, for the halberdiers. Those are kind of breaking his back right now. Ah, it's not a good look for the guy. Look who's in that town center. Traps coming up way late. Trying to trade back against the enemy trebuchets. He's getting some good hits in, but I'd be surprised if Ben just didn't end up packing them up and leaving, although it looks like the repair villagers coming in a little bit late, though one of those trebuchets might just fall, but luckily for him, able to avoid that shot. Let's see if the next ones connect. Oh, there we go. One trap taken out by Katie. Maybe that's kind of some second wind that reinvigorates him. Gives him some confidence. Try and fight back in this one. He's taken out another trap. Gets the third one. Now run away with the cavalry. You're quick as hell. Up to Imp now. Both of these guys. And, well, they've been up to him for ages. What am I talking about? But I don't... He's taken out the trap, so that at least halts the advance for a second here. But just one town center now. Up in the back. Barely any resources within his walls as well. Look at this. That's the last few resources that he's got. Trying to put up a castle for defense now. 8,000 gold. 600 stone. That's not going to carry him all that far. Now the defensive castles start coming in. Putting up the production buildings too. All he can do is light calf at this point, isn't it? 2,500 food, and that's all he's got. Trying to sneak around the side now is KT. With a last-ditch effort, you have to feel like try and raid the enemy. 4 relics for the Lithuanians. Oh, those Cavalier hit like a truck, and they already have been upgraded to Paladin. Poor boy KT. I don't think you can turn this one around anymore. It looks more and more like the series is going to be evened up at 1 apiece. Town bell coming in. Well, it's not a town bell actually, but just being pulled to safety. At this point, maybe the hill forts, if that is the actual name of the tech, could be a good idea just to be able to defend a little bit better at home there. Again, always forced to pull all the villages back into his TC. That's some APM that he doesn't necessarily have to always go through if he just does a little bit of a better job defending at home. I really wonder what those walls were about. Maybe that's just the way he rolls. Maybe that's just his thing, but I'm not a huge fan of those. As he's still pushing at the front, the Paladin got into the eco. That's even yet more villagers going down. Oh, 24 kills on those Paladins. Trap about to be taken out too. It's just stood there, kind of forgotten about. Poor guy. Yeah, I love the respect from the Paladins. They kind of respect it, right? The brave trap that doesn't shy away from confrontation. The Halberdiers aren't as well virtuous as righteous though, and they take it out. And that was the straw that broke the camel's or the trebuchets back. Katie calls the GG, and unsurprisingly, the series is tied up here. Pretty solid game from BenImortal. He just played his build better. No water play at all from KT. In all fairness though, none as well from Ben after those initial 5 fishing ships. But he's had everything that he needed. Look at the resource difference in the end here. Maybe we can take a quick look at the statistics for this one. It's not really that interesting though. We just watched the game, right? We saw what happened. Not a whole lot to be seen in those stats here. It's pretty grim here for KT. Maybe best he can do is try to shake this one off. Don't look back and now go to your home map in game 3. Still a hopefully comfortable spot for him. Hopefully the civilization that was chosen for him on this map is one that suits him as well. Looking forward to an exciting decider match here in game number 3. Let's see what the matchup actually is. I forgot already. Don't even remember which map it was. Either way, let me just quickly transition into the final game of this first round series between KT and BenImortal, seeds 8 and 9 of bracket J in the Pick Your Poison tournament, organized by Daniela and a bunch of other cool folks. As we're trying to get into that game in number 3. Oh boy. Oh boy, we're looking at a very interesting game here. Without spoiling too much. Well, I don't have to spoil anything because we're going right into it anyways. But ooh, it's one of those matchups that I'm not the hugest fan of, to put it mildly. Oh, either way, we're gonna have to sit through this one, folks. Do you like what you see? Is the question. Oh man, look at this. It's Arena. It's gonna be mayhem. It's game number 3, 1-1. One win apiece. Winner takes all here in this series. Loser is eliminated from the tournament. We've got KT as the Persians on the left side on Arena against the Byzantines for BenImortal on the right side. Well, let's see how this one turns out. The Byzantines on Arena doesn't even sound that bad, honestly. These are two very interesting civs, and even late game Persians have a terrifying reputation, so I wonder how these guys ended up with those two civs. Maybe they just picked OP Arena civs across the board, or maybe they were just cool about it and gave each other pretty cool civs on each of those maps. Although, well, yeah, I don't think they had some terrible ones so far. So, interesting matchups after all. Let's see which of these two guys is the better Arena player. It is KT's home map, since he of course lost the previous game, so maybe he can show some nice prepared strategies on this one. Maybe he's just a solid Arena player overall. Let's start off actually with the civilization bonuses. We've got some time here probably, since it's Arena. Let's take a look what everybody's working with here. Persia with the extra starting resources, of course. Other than that, Persian douche is not to be expected on this one, although we very much like it. Would shorten the game by a considerable margin, probably. Other than that, of course, the quicker work in town centers add up pretty quickly here when approaching the late game. Elite War Elephants is definitely something I'm looking forward to here. If I don't see that, I'm gonna be mad. That's definitely what you play Arena for, is Persians, right? Right? Well, maybe not. And yeah, well, other than that, not sure anything worth mentioning here. Although I guess, yeah, the archer line not costing any gold could be huge in the late game here. Remember, we're not in a team game, there's no trading, so the trash archers could come in clutch there as we approach the late game against the Byzantines, who are the traditional kings of trash warfare. Over here on the side for BenImortal. Extra building HP scaling throughout the game. That's of course just a gimme there for the Byzantines. Defensive civilization, that's one of the most egregious labels that I've ever seen in a war game. What's the fun in defending? I don't know. It's not my cup of tea personally. Other than that, everything is just cheap for them. Look at this stuff. Advanced to Imp, cheaper. Camel, trash, everything cheaper. Well, the town watch for free stuff is kind of not really that relevant, I don't think. Unique text also not all that huge on this map, I don't think. And the monk heal speed could be decent, but isn't really, in most cases, making big differences, especially when you're fighting with mainly trash units anyways. Look at the backyards for both of these guys, though. Persia with a very traditional type of backyard here. What is this extension type of thing going on for BenImortal, though? So I'm gonna start pulling down the civ info. Don't think we need that anymore. But look at this type of worm just extending through out from the southern part of his base. Very interesting type of woodline that he's got going there. Maybe it could be used for some interesting plays, for some honor to cut throughs as well at some point if you ever needed to. Honestly, it's pretty smart idea on Arena, just sneaking around at some point if you can afford to do so and raid the opponent's eco that way. It's not something I've considered, but pretty interesting on this one. Well, in terms of scouting, I'm not sure how interesting that is on Arena. In terms of the relics, I guess maybe. Don't think either of these guys are gonna be playing heavily around relics though. So probably not the most important thing to get rid of, to keep track of, excuse me. Relic distribution overall pretty fair, although slightly in favor of the Byzantines, it looks like. A little bit more on their side. And yeah, other than that, some very interesting looking woodlines here for this being arena overall, as I already mentioned, but well, it's not the end of the world, definitely. And both of these guys still, of course, in their feudal ages. That's nothing, or in their dark ages rather. Of course, that's nothing to be surprised about, since yeah, on arena you always play those boomy builds, and therefore, yeah, extended feudal ages being the absolute norm. Interesting builds, I don't know. So far, we've got a stark difference there in terms of villager distribution. Persia already with a 993 type of distribution. Again, like a traditional fast castle, whereas the Byzantines are still heavily on food, actually. No gold picked up just yet at all. Maybe they're gonna go for the market play. Who knows, really. Or already picked up loom, though, so maybe they got housed at some point. Interesting, they probably got housed at some point while I was just rambling, but picking up loom that early, not typically what you do on this map. Still a villager ahead, 40 seconds of idle TC time again for KT. I wonder what that is down, what that is due to. So now he's up with 25 villages going up to feudal age. Same thing now with 26 for Ben, just due to him managing that town center time better. 40 seconds idle TC. Wonder what happened there. Maybe KT also got housed at some point. Refused to pick up loom, I assume, but whatever it is, he's a little bit behind there. At least he's going to be able to go up to feudal and then to castle age pretty smoothly, I'm sure. On the other side, Ben with the extra villager, maybe with a slight lead so far. Well, we'll see. I'm not entirely sure what to expect out of these two civs on arena. Typically, though, the Persian boom is pretty potent, so I wonder what the idea is for Byzantines. I guess it just Persians are going to be able to boom better, but since everything is cheaper for the Byzantines, maybe they're going to be able to withstand that and use their defensive label to actually outlast here. It's an interesting matchup for sure. I don't really know how this goes, so I guess we'll just learn here on the job. Both guys arriving in that feudal age, and as we can see, that castle age is going to come in shortly for both of them. Maybe a little bit short on gold is BenImortal. Probably didn't intend on picking up loom earlier, so that's why he's a little bit further away. Then on the other hand, Katie a little bit misbalanced there in terms of eco. Probably gonna have to end up buying some food if he wants to get up to castle age quickly. Why is he not making villages? Now queuing up another one. Another 16 seconds of idle TC time that I can't really understand why they had to come in here. Maybe it's the nerfs. We're in a deciding game of a tournament. And welcome to Phantom in chat. I hope I didn't ignore you for too long here. Good to see you. It's bracket J. Didn't I put that? Oh yeah, I think I put it in the title as well. So it's the lowest elo bracket in the tournament. We're looking at some classic low elo gameplay. My bracket, in fact, the bracket that I'm playing in as well. It's the lowest elo bracket, 800 to 1050 type players in this one, but very evenly matched are those players. Are you a participant in the tourney yourself, Phantom? I don't recognize the name, so forgive me for that. But are you playing in one of these brackets too? That would be interesting. Maybe I can also cast and stream some of your games at some point. Of course, always looking to get more games to watch. You are in bracket I, so that's cool. You're just the bracket above this one. Maybe I'll check that out at some point too. If you're scheduled for later today, though, I'm afraid I probably gotta end up going to bed. It's 10 p.m. where I live right now, and I gotta go to university at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I don't think I'm gonna be able to cast a lot more games after this one. probably going to be the last one here, depending on how long this arena game goes. It's the deciding game of this series anyway, so probably a good game to call it afterwards. But yeah, maybe I'll take a look at one of your games as well tomorrow at some point. Definitely want to cast some more games these next few days. Whenever my game is scheduled, of course, I will stream that live from my point of view as well. But having some difficulty scheduling so far, so can't really promise when that's gonna be yet. Who are you playing them then, Phantom? Are you the favorite? Are you the highest seed in your matchup? Because I'm the second seed of my overall bracket, so I feel like I'm always the favorite in my games, which is kind of putting some pressure onto me that I don't really think is justified. But you know, that's somebody has to be the higher seed, I suppose. I wonder what type of spot you're in there. I feel like the underdog spot is a pretty neat one, and I honestly like the map drafting position better for the lower seed as well. Good job by KT walling in his villages here as he puts up the aggressive forward castle, and he doesn't want to let the Byzantines just get to imp for free, and puts up the pressure nice and early. Love to see it. You're also the second seed. Well then, we're kind of in the same spot here. Exactly, right? Feeling the second seed. We're probably both relatively low elo. What are you? You're probably like 1150 at best. I don't know, like around 1150. I'm like just barely above 1000 elo. I don't feel like I deserve that higher seeding, but it's just how the player distribution in the tournament fell, right? So I'm not blaming the organizers or anything. It's my first ever tournament though, so we'll see if I can live up to the seed. 150. My God, I'm on a roll today. What with the guesstimations here? Yeah, you're quite a bit better than me then. So maybe I should watch your games and see what I can learn from that. Although I have a Smurf account that I'm randomly 1200 elo on. That's just because it only has 5 or 6 games at this point, I assume. But still, I wanna say I have sniffed high elo air before, so I don't think that's a correct verb to use with that, but I don't care. It's late at this point. Language skills falling off, that's all fine. Civ or AOE2 skills probably also falling off at this point, but luckily I don't have to play anymore today. What is Nightbot on about, by the way? First ever tournament. I feel you, mate. I feel you. Oh, you're Eastern time, so you're probably somewhere on the East Coast. New York City, Miami, Toronto. Depending which of these three you live in, you're either super happy or super upset at the NBA playoffs at this point, which seem to be a banger. Yeah, no, I'm sadly not able to watch your game live today, but since I'm able to access all of the recordings from the tournament, maybe I'll stream it. I'll just cast over it at some point in the future. But definitely note down your name since you're here in the chat. So definitely good to give people a shout out that just check by in the stream. I always appreciate having some company here, especially early on in arena games where I don't really have a lot to talk about here. I like KT taking the map control though. He's picking up the resources, the neutral resources early on his opponent's side of the map, so he's doing a good job being as aggressive as he really can be on arena. Love to see that. And yeah, always great to have new players on this in the stream. I've typically streamed Sid Meier's Civilization 3 gameplay and tournaments on this channel, but I'm now also delving a bit into AOE2 since, yeah, as I just said, I'm playing in my first ever tournament and I want to keep that content coming as well. Well, whenever I can. I'm not like a full-time content creator, right? I'm just a student, but, you know, just hanging out here some evenings, enjoying the gameplay, low elo gameplay at that. That's what we're all here for, after all. Oh boy. That's some aggression there for the Persians, but I like Ben not really panicking here. He's not super panicked, doesn't look like. Pitar's now coming out for the Persians. They're looking to bust into this base and harass a little bit with those crossbows. Nobody up to imp just yet, and it looks like Ben was intent on getting to imp really quick here. Maybe his plans have now changed. He's just broken the 650 stone threshold, and now he's gonna put up that castle here. Let's see how Katie reacts to it once he starts seeing that castle going up. Maybe he's gonna save up some more Pitars, although he's already showing them to the Byzantines, which is not the greatest idea. What do you study? I study history with the second degree. I don't know what it's called in English. The under degree, the second degree being Scandinavian philology. So yeah, just like Scandinavian languages, literature, culture stuff. But that's just my second degree. History is the main subject. Did some electrical engineering before that, but it wasn't really for me. I love maths and physics, but I don't love it that much. Didn't really want to make that my job, I found out. Petards start breaking in here, and he's still walled off though, trying to get through the siege workshop, but that is tankier than he anticipated, so those petards pretty much evaporate into thin air, literally and figuratively. Doesn't end up getting anything off of them, so that investment was completely negated by the castle going up there from Ben. And he's been able to sustain. He's going to click up to Imp here soon. There he goes, and KT's still a long ways away from that. He's invested a lot in that army, and he doesn't have any food at all. He's on single TC at home still, so he's really committing to this push, but he's not getting anything from it just now. Oh yeah, it was a big change in my studies there, but I don't know. I've always been a guy of many academical interests, so it wasn't like shocking to me. But yeah. How about yourself? Are you a student as well? Are you still in school? Always interested in finding out what other people are doing. Although I'm not all that familiar with the educational system in the US. I know the general structure, right? But I don't know that it's expensive as shit. So, you know. Either way, still always curious to see what other people are doing out there. Other young people, or old people for that matter. I don't discriminate here on accounts of age. Would be very unwise to do so in the Age of Empires 2 community. At that, I'm well aware of that. As we see finally some military coming out for BenImortal as well. He's got the regular scout cavalry as he's on the way to Imp, which is pretty funny. But he's, with minimal investment into army, is doing a good job holding on here. The mangonel shots coming in, good splits for KT, but he's starting to take some hits here, and it's efficient defense for Ben so far. Finally, the Pitar breaking open that base. This is the point where I typically panic in my arena games and just start folding. Let's see if Ben can sustain and defend that push. A single scout taking out both of his mangonels is pretty devastating though, and now the crossbows are in. He's getting a last decent shot out, but those crossbows are gonna start taking some villager picks. You're already working. That's cool. You are Comp Sci and MBA. Oh boy, that's definitely not the direction I could have gone, but I respect it. Definitely do, and hope you don't have. Hope you're gonna be able to get out of those college loans or whatever that's called sooner rather than later. Heard some people having trouble with that these days. Either way, good luck with that. I definitely respect that profession because I can't do shit with computers. You see me already struggling with Capture Age here, which is a fabulously designed application, and Ben trying to defend against those archers, but really good micro from KT, just pulling those back in the choke point, able to chip away at the enemy cavalry. Heavy cavalry really struggling against these archers here. Cataphrag going down too. There's just not enough upgrades just yet for the Byzantines, and KT's gonna click up to Imp this very second too. Still on 1 TC, so I'm really surprised by his strategy here as the Persians, why he wouldn't go for more of a boom, but maybe he's not that big of an arena player and he wants to end it quick, therefore going for this all-in type of push. Although it's really difficult to pull that off against the Byzantines, who are now dropping that town center in this little worm-like extension of their base. Very weirdly shaped backyard for arena standards. You're already all paid off. That's massive, dude. Congrats on that. Man, that must be such a sigh of relief for you. Getting out from under that. Respect. Absolutely. Man, KT not making builds is kind of the story of this series. I fully agree. Phantom saying in chat. If KT just made some builds behind all of that, he'd be in a great spot. But he's behind an eco, so he still needs to do way more damage for this push to be considered a success. And just like last game, the idle TC time costing him so much. At least this game, he's doing some damage here, so well, we'll see if he's gonna be able to punish with that. But KT, on his home map here, I would have expected him to maybe play a little bit more properly. I love to see the War Elephant. That's something I said before the game. I really want to see one of those come out. Needs some more upgrades for that. But still, it's a beautiful unit, this guy. Man, look at this. Oh, the graphics. The ornaments. How could you even kill such a beautiful being? That's the thing. KT, just like the last game, he's adding TCs, but he doesn't have the food eco to even make villages out of those TCs. The macro has been all, well, very much subpar, I would say, for him. But still, he's got a pretty big amount of crossbowmen. He can't afford to lose them, though, as the mangonel comes forward. Definitely need to be careful microing those crossbowmen. That's pretty much everything keeping him in the game right now. The eco lead is devastating at this point for BenImortal. Not even ballistics on those crossbowmen is pretty difficult to deal with enemy cavalry like that. He's got the elephant coming in, which is really tanky. He's going to try and take out the mangonel with that, but that's a lot of crossbowmen going down there. Oh no, at least he's able to clean up the cavalry, but you really need those numbers to stay high. A trebuchet coming out to work away at that castle now. It's a good idea. Still the elephant trying to chase down this mangonel, but with the repairs, really good job by BenImortal. Keeping it alive, and it really needs those mangonel shots to start connecting. Otherwise, those villager lead, that he's accrued might start crumbling here. Good micro there for KT is what I assume you're saying. Well, yeah, I agree. He's good with those crossbow. I definitely would have lost way more at this point. I can't lie. He's still trying to push forward with those and keeping more coming as well. Another mangonels come out though, and now with 3 mangonels around, that's really a difficult task to micro away at that, especially in such narrow terrain with all these choke points here. This is a little bit of a head scratcher. That mangonel kind of with the wrong type of pathing here. We've all been there though. The waypoint settings in AOE2 are definitely oftentimes head scratchers. Either way, another War Elephant coming out with the crossbowman behind, ballistics and thumbering coming in now. So he's gonna start doing a lot more damage with those once those shots actually hit. And still relatively low army numbers for Ben. He's got a little bit of everything, but all those crossbowmen are going to be difficult to take out. You're saying BenImortal is in a winning position here. He won last game in a very similar game state where he had the huge eco lead and the enemy had huge idle TC time. But this game is arena, very different type of game. It is KT's home map, and BenImortal, if he's not careful, could lose all of his eco in a heartbeat against this crossbow mass. He's trying to get some good shots in from all of these mangonels, but he's not really able to do so. And the War Elephant being so slow, since the Persian unique tag hasn't come in just yet, I don't think, making it very difficult to micro against those mangonels. Look at the damage coming in. Just taken out is that War Elephant, and the castle too, so he can't even upgrade the War Elephants anymore. Chemistry also coming in for those crossbowmen, so that's going to be his main unit here. He's losing a lot of them though. Another mangonel shaft coming in. Oh boy, is this where KT crumbles? Is he going to throw away his army here? Let's hope he can recover some of them. Some Persian knights here to deal with those siege units could be nice. I fully agree on that. You need some units against the siege, or you need to have Hera like micro, but as I said before, in this type of terrain, it's just not reliable. The mangonel's always gonna connect, as you said. That's my experience from later games as well. And now the trebuchet, a little bit careless for BenImortal, to speak the truth. Feels like he had the units to kind of deny that. with the mangonels around, could have maybe done a better job at that. So both of these guys losing a few military units more than they necessarily should have at this point. Hello Beige, nice to see you as well in the stream. We're casting Bracket J. We're in a deciding match here in the round 1 between Katie and BenImortal. I really can't tell who's going to win this one, although Ben is in a pretty good spot eco-wise. I'm still scared for him though, because if these crossbowmen ever break in, that could be where the game ends. You're a bit late for this series, Beige, you are, but it's going to go up on YouTube if you're interested in any of the previous games here as well. And I'm going to be casting more of this tournament in the next few days, whenever I have time, since a lot of work in the school, at school going on right now for me. Either way, I have been enjoying this tournament a lot so far, so we'll be seeing a lot more of it on this channel, I'm sure. I wonder though. I wonder what Katie's plan is to really push through here. Just the crossbows clearly can't be the answer. He's been struggling to get in there and actually inflict some casualties on the enemy, whereas just a few mangonels and cataphracts have kind of done the job for Ben. I mean, he hasn't been able to pick up any gold or anything outside of his base, but just picking up all the extra res in the back and expanding towards the sides is working just fine for him so far. He needs to do a better job at protecting his siege units though, as the mangonel goes down again, gets a fine shot in, and all those crossbowmen on pretty low HP, but the numbers are still big enough so that the cataphracts can't just swoop in there and take him out. He just doesn't have the numbers here, Ben doesn't, and a little bit of an imbalanced eco as well. Maybe if he gets a few more numbers and he can finally commit. Now, finally some army diversification there for Katie though. Get some camels up in there and able to take out a siege unit with that. That's working some wonders for him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Phantom. I pointed that out in the beginning, of course, before you got here. This worm-like extension here is absolutely crazy for a backyard. Compare that to the standard backyard for KT. It's definitely some weird arena map generation on this one. It's super fun. You could definitely cut through with some onagers to your opponent's base here if you ever got an extension like that. It's super fun. Let's keep the eye on the main center of attention though, as another trap goes down. Can you explain to me what he's doing with those traps? Why is he always putting them up right here? What is he even shooting at with those traps in this position? Was he still shooting at the trap up here? I don't know. He's just throwing away some trebuchets for free here. It is weird. Yeah, that's a natural generation, Phantom. It was like that from the beginning. Or Beige, sorry. So sorry, you were the one who asked. That's actually how it generated. It's some arena gameplay here for sure. Oh, I love it. I'm sorry, by the way, Nightbot freaking out all the time. I'll try to get that fixed for tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure. Oh yeah, no, I know what it is. I'll get that fixed for tomorrow, definitely. Finally figured out what the issue was with that. Either way, it is some funny generation, but it's also some funny stubbornness from both these players. Full crossbow commitment on the one side, finally some camels come in alongside that. And on the other side, really keeping, well, he keeps throwing away that siege and selling it cheaper than he really needed to. The camels are going to be difficult to deal with though. Skirmishes and siege aren't going to fare well against the camels, who are diving in underneath the TC. TC fire definitely hurting, but let's see how many mangonels he can get. He turns around, and oh boy, I think he's going to lose quite a bit here. At least finding good trade with the crossbowmen. Look at all the dead horses on the floor, carcasses as wide as the eye can see. Although the camels in the back are being taken out now, and the siege has survived. So we're pretty much still at the same stalemate situation that we've been in all game. Albeit those northern farms can now no longer be farmed by Ben. KT now having to retreat since he didn't succeed in taking out the mangonels, and we're in another limbo type situation, back and forth. Nobody succeeding in pushing each other across the finish line. Still, KT with all the map control, farming resources in the middle. Those are some crucial resources right in front of his opponent's base. But still, half the villager numbers for KT, and his military isn't really succeeding so far. A lot of resources still just stored up there for Ben. If he could get some production buildings up, I feel like he should at this point be able to push them back. Just making trash units. Honestly, with these villager numbers, 105 villagers, 40 of them idle is pretty brutal. But still, 105 villagers, you should be able to just skirmisher spam your way to victory at this point, shouldn't you? It's weird. Oh, select all army hotkey. That could be it, maybe. Definitely a weird one for me. He doesn't have that big an army in order to for him to really need to use that. Good trades here at least for KT. I feel like you're fine giving up. I feel like you're definitely fine giving up 10, 15 crossbows to take out 4 mangonels. Oh man, Ben. I feel like he's stressed at this point. You can still do it, man. You're in a fine spot. You've got great eco compared to your opponent. Look at the score. Despite you losing so much, you're still ahead in score. Don't throw away the siege like that. You need more skirmishers, don't you? At least that's my diagnosis. I'm not sure why the camels are coming in. He's trying to raid some villages, but he's just taking out the siege, so not sure what he's looking for with those. Only skirms can kill everything. That's what I'm saying, mate. Even skirm helps. He already has the halberd upgrades. Not the armor upgrades, but the halberd, the attack is what I mean. So literally the standard cookie cutter Byzantine comp of help skirm is probably enough to win this one. Even got he's got 10 helps up in those barracks. I wonder if he forgot about those, or if he just didn't pull them out because he didn't need them so far. But that's funny. He's got just 10 helps hanging around somewhere. Love to see that. Oh boy. You're saying that's a game-winning fight. Well, maybe it should be. KT really losing a lot of stuff here. But yeah, the thing is, you're absolutely right. KT can't really replace his losses at this point. He's kind of all out of depth here, being pushed back. All those crossbowmen gone. He's not really done all that much damage. Not able to kill that many villagers. He's killed 25 villagers. That sounds like a lot, but he's been in this base for like 40 minutes at this point. So considering that, it's definitely not as impressive anymore. Trash plus siege is a deadly combo here for BenImortal. If he opts for that, I feel like he's got a good chance of pushing all of this back. Castle in the middle now for KT. Interesting choice. I wonder why he's putting that here. He's not defending any resources with it, so it's clearly a strategic, or well, just a production building. Maybe he needs some unique tags, maybe conscription, maybe he actually wants to go some more elephants. I'm not sure. Either way, a bit of a weak castle placement if you ask me. And honestly, picking up some relics at some point would have been really good for him, because he's got really bad eco, and having 4 or 5 relics, which he definitely could have had at this point, he's got all the map control. 4 or 5 relics, that's an immense eco boost in the late game. Either way, he's gonna get that castle up now, and let's see what he makes from it. He's getting the forging upgrade now, so maybe he's transitioning into some more cavalry for good. He's got the crossbows still hanging around. He's lacking upgrades, though. He really is. Oh, he doesn't get Bracer, I guess. My bad. But still, with all those skirms on the other side, he's definitely going to need to diversify a bit. Sends in the camels, trying to take out the trap, but it doesn't look like he's going to succeed in doing that. And the trades just keep getting worse for KT. Looks like Ben has hold on and is starting to turn the tides of this one. Has Red had 9 farms all game, you ask? Well, I'm pretty sure he has, because he hasn't made villagers all game. Well, that's of course an exaggeration, but you get me, right? He really hasn't invested into food eco, or any eco for that matter. He's been on 1 TC for the huge majority of this game, so yeah, he's definitely not playing the eco game in this one. I don't think he's going to be able to rebuild that army that he lost on offense here, and I don't think pure camels and crossbows are the answer. The enemy has already shown halberds and skirmishers. Why are you still opting into crossbow and camel? That is a real head scratcher from me. Although Ben has kind of sacrificed a few halberdiers and is now again being pushed back a bit. They shouldn't do a lot of damage, but still, gotta be a bit more careful with your units there. Only skirms. You are right. You are right. He's making the correct choices here. 36 skirms in that stack. Wonder why he's not making more. He's got all the rest. He's kind of just... Maybe he's been housed or something. I really wonder what's stressing him out right now. Really? At this point... Oh boy, what's happening with these villagers? No, Ben! No! What's going on? Oh, it's a meetup. We're scheming. We're figuring out the plan for this one going forward. We've got 35 villagers right here. And the 36 skirmishers going into the back. Alright, what are we doing? Are we cutting through? No. What are we doing? Oh, no. We're getting through to our TC to try and defend. I like that. Still, none of these players are the most efficient here. Neither am I, so I can definitely relate. But I wonder what's going on here right now. Skirmishers pushing back those crossbows, it looks like. Doesn't take them out, though. So... what's the point in doing that? If you're not gonna take them out, you can't send your villagers back to work. So I wonder what he's gonna do there. Town meeting, hell yeah! It's the communal planting of farms. Look at this, man. This reminds me of back in the day when me and my family would go to the local farm type of stuff where you can go and you can pick vegetables and berries, right? You pay, I don't know if that's a thing in the US or something, but that's the thing. You can go to a local farm and you can pay a fee and you can pick vegetables and fruit and berries or whatever they have on that farm for like, yeah, and you pay by how many or whatever you pick. That's what this looks like, right? They're just the women and men of the town meeting up, seeding all those farms together. It's beautiful. At least they're not lonely. Not sure, yeah, not sure what Ben is doing right now. He's not making more army. He's not pushing anywhere. He's not even making more villagers. It looks like he is a little bit, yeah, he's just catching his breath, it really looks like. He doesn't have ballistics yet, and it really shows. Yeah, I feel like he is just a little bit too inactive for my liking here. Maybe his plan is actually to just sit at home until he wins, just take the defensive civilization label of the Byzantines absolutely literally. But come on, some upgrades, some more numbers, anything. Give us something, mate. Your opponent isn't doing a whole lot, but you still need to capitalize on it. Red coming with traps now. Yeah, he's got some traps again. His first ones weren't too effective. He tried to take out this castle earlier. Now he's pushing in from the north and gonna try to take out this town center. Let's see if Ben's got a response ready for this one. He's not made more villagers to show the gap in eco is actually shrinking here. Buildings start going down. The town center in the middle also about to drop. And Ben is kind of scrambling for a response. Not really sure where to go from this one. Still no ballistics here. And in go the skirmishers, but they're just face tanking the camels. The halberds needed to be there first. He's losing a few skirmishers, but he's taken out way more camels. I think that's still a positive trade for him. The trebuchets are kind of iffy though. Not really hitting for him right now. He's lost all the halberdiers by now. Still making more. That's a good choice. Now you can see 16 in the queue. Finally, he's put the army production back up. And he's now pushing forward. As we've said half an hour ago, if he just made only skirmishers, he could win it. And that's exactly what he's recognized here as well, it looks like. He's taken great trades with all these skirmishers, not even having tacked ballistics, but it doesn't matter. It's just the counter unit. And even with the camels, he doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the upgrades on the camels. Look at the upgrades for KT. He's just spread so thin all across the board. No eco, no military numbers, no military upgrades. He can't possibly win this, right? Oh, his traps now starting to go down too. All he got from this was 20 help kills and a town center in the middle, which might be a moral victory, but it definitely isn't one on paper. He's about to be fully pushed back out of the space, and surely this has got to be the fight that turns the tide and gives BenImortal the confidence to push out of there, right? Right? Any front line before in front of those skirmishers, 55 of them in the field. 3, 4, 5 traps behind that's got to be all he needs in order to win this one, right? I don't know. That's what it looks like to me. He's a bit open on the bottom here, and the crossbow rates are going to continue, but you know, it's not going to be all that devastating, I don't think. And in the north, he can start pushing out. The all interesting question is, will he though? What does he have? 65 skirmishes? Oh boy. Man, please, please, you can do it. It's a lot of buildings blocking your way, but one at a time, you can chip away at those. I believe in you. I wonder what KT has all these production buildings for. Why do you have five archery ranges in the middle? You can't even produce out of all 5. I mean, he is producing out of all 5. Never mind, okay, so I guess he can produce out of all 5. Where does he have those rest from, by the way? He's just barely able to produce out of all those buildings, so I guess, yeah, maybe he actually can afford to go for that many. It just looked like for the biggest part of this game, he hasn't been producing out of that stuff. But either way, he's still got the numbers here because Ben isn't really pushing. But he's got the traps forward now, and the trend of this game continues. He is a bit too careless with his siege units and loses another trebuchet just before being able to take out this castle. There's still a trebuchet here. 2 trebuchets, actually. Ooh, that's tricky. And that should be it, right? Okay, castle is gone. At this point, it doesn't matter all that much if you lose the traps. They've done their job. Now, I know this is a bold idea. Don't freak out when I say this. But what about going forward, westwards, towards the red side? Is that a suggestion? No. First we gotta defend in the south, because that's another TC about to go down. I don't think Ben has noticed that yet, as he was just about to move out in the north, but I think he's realized what was going on. And KT, just always being active, always clicking those crossbowmen forward, is fully paralyzing Ben. I wonder, I wonder if he's again gonna be able to stop Ben in his tracks and keep him confined to his base. At least Ben has been chopping away at these streets and is buying himself more space at home to build into. He's gonna need that. But at this point, only 80 villagers for Ben. He's kind of feeling the pressure here from both the circumstances of this tournament being at an elimination game, but also the constant army production of KT, really putting him in a major pickle. He's gonna have to find an answer to those raids at some point, and he's sending some skirmishes over now. I think that is the perfect response. Don't interrupt your entire push for this. 10 skirmishes are gonna do the job, and keep on pressing in the middle. You've taken out the castle. That was the most important part. Maybe some rams. What do we think about some rams here for the Byzantines? If you can't protect your siege, maybe just throw in a few rams. They aren't as expensive as the traps, and they're a bit more mobile too. They are good against the enemy crossbowmen, which is the opponent's main unit. Maybe some rams to help accelerate the process of pushing through the middle. It's just a suggestion here. Not that he really needs it, because he's in a great strategic position right now. Let's see what is the relic situation looking like. We've got 1 relic picked up at this point by KT. That is definitely some negligence, as he's put up the 3rd TC at home. He's expanded the farm count to 19. Okay, he's booming now. 1 hour, 30 minutes in. The 3 TC boom has commenced. Is Ben gonna be able to stop this one? Let's find out across the next 1 hour of gameplay. Well, let's hope it doesn't last another hour. But still, he's gonna surely be able to take control of this one now. I can't possibly see, even if another crossbow raid comes in the south. He's got the skirmishes there at this point. I don't really see what the answer would be for the Persians, and he doesn't have any military at this point. He's kind of just, again, now it's his turn to be shell-shocked. He is preparing for a defense, putting up the castle at home. He did a good job picking up the neutral resources in the middle first. I cannot compliment him enough for that. It was really smart. Taking the map control, 1 TC push immediately, and then start picking up the rest in the middle. Playing a decider game 3 on Arena is the definite nightmare of myself in this tournament. I want to avoid that at all costs if I can, because seriously, people are never giving up on Arena if it's a game 3. I can tell you that. They're gonna play it to the very bitter end, and on Arena that can be a long time. So it's definitely not a enviable situation here by any means. But KT's still able to, with the few villages that he has. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's got the exact same number as his opponent at this point. But with the eco that he has, he is still managing to pick up neutral resources, and that could go a long way. Sadly, hasn't picked up the relics, and I think that is a pretty big factor in this one. If he had a 4-1, 5-0 relic lead, which again was very realistic in this one, I might give him a good shot in the late game here, in the super late, in the post-imp. But as things stand, he's behind by more than 100 pop. He's equal on eco at least, but he doesn't have any army in the field against the 100 literal skirmishers that BenImortal is fielding. I don't really. I'm not sure if I like his spot here. He's about to lose 50% of his army as well. Run, boy. No. No! Wrong direction, boy. Get away! Get away! I don't think he's even looking at this, by the way. He's just... This is 50% of his army in numbers. 80% of his army in terms of resource value. It's no big deal for him. He's got bigger fish to fry. About to lose his last forward building here. Surely this is gonna be it, right? I mean, how is Katie gonna defend this one? He's got 3 TCs, he's got 1 castle, he's got a single layer of stone walls. He's even open, by the way. If you've got cavalry, you can just ride through there in the between the gate and the castle. But Ben doing it the old-fashioned way. He's gonna break down the walls with his own trebuchets. I wonder what he's gonna make in order to close out this game. Just skirmishes and traps is probably not enough at this point. Maybe some halberdiers in front. He's got 25 of them, but they're not really in position right now. Let's see if the camels can do any damage. They should really not be able to do anything here. It's just too little numbers. I wonder what KT's thinking. If he doesn't give a crap anymore, if he's like, okay, this is a loss. Why are you sending? Well, then I would understand why he's sending on the units by themselves. But why not just GG at that point? But if he's really gonna try to make a last stand here, be more responsible with your units. You can't afford to lose 5 camels like that. You really need to build those army numbers now, otherwise it's over. This is an exciting set. It definitely is in terms of the back and forth here. I fully agree. BenImortal about to be able to complete the reverse sweep here after Katie's Viking victory. Oh, I'm just spoiling everything here. Yeah, my bad. After Katie's Viking victory in game 1, BenImortal coming back here, and it looks like he's gonna be able to close it out. Even if he's a bit irresponsible with his siege units at this point. Let's be honest about it. He can afford to replenish all those. He doesn't have a lot of villagers. He doesn't have the best eco. He doesn't need it. He's Byzantines. He's even got the relics 3-0 at this point. I don't see it. I can't see it at all. Still, no military upgrades, no eco upgrades even for the Persians here beyond the feudal age. It's just not enough there for KT. No matter how good he micros, no matter how good a unit composition he's got at this point, I feel like he's just too far on the back foot. And he's starting to lose buildings inside his own base. The castle has gone down too. Hasn't even expanded into the west here. So he doesn't have a safe eco. At this point, if I'm Byzantines, I'm making anything that can raid the opponent. Because I've broken open the base, so just some regular light cav even doesn't even matter. You know your opponent doesn't have a lot of army. So just any units that are able to raid the opponent would be pretty strong at this point. Although at least 2 relics have been saved by KT. He's putting up the monastery in the very back of his base. Good choice there. So maybe some gold income through that avenue. Lost the gold villages in the south. So yeah, that's gonna be the last gold income that he's got, right? Anything left in his base? Wouldn't appear so. Well, that's everything he's got left. 1200 gold. After that, still relying on double gold units. I think that should be it. I don't think he's got the unique tag that replaces the crossbow cost with wood. Although he had the castle up here, so I didn't check that. He might have really gotten it. Probably has, yeah, because he's still making crossbows everywhere, and he doesn't have any gold. So yeah, probably did get the unique tag. Props to him for that. He's putting up the castle on the same spot. Still hasn't taken out the enemy military though. I wonder why Ben isn't pushing any further right now. I wonder what he's waiting for. Again, we're in the same type of spot that we were in last time. If you remember, in the back of his base, where he just didn't make any more wills or any more military. Right now, okay, so he's working away at the gate over here, wanting to maybe get a bigger area of attack, potentially, to break in through. Giving KT time to rebuild a little bit, though. Bombard cannons now being mixed in for the Persians. I wonder, maybe that's the best thing he's got against the trebuchets. It's okay-ish against skirmishers as well. Some onagers too. I love to see that. He's got a lot of resources in the bank here. If you don't spend them now, you're not going to get a chance to spend them later. KT, that is. Ben surely has enough rest. He doesn't have to worry about that. But KT, you really need to get some army out onto the field. You're still behind by 60 to 70 pop. I don't see this ending well, my mate. Oh, he just spent a lot of food. Did he sell 1,000 food? What did he spend that food on? I don't see any expensive upgrades. Did he get Siege Onager? Don't think he did. I wonder what he just spent 1,000 food on. Did he get some unique tech in the cal? I don't know. I guess I'm just mentally asleep already. Pardon me for that. It's 11 p.m. Again, I have to be at school in 9 hours, so that's gonna be fun. But let's see how this turns out, mate. I want to see how this one concludes before it's bedtime here. I wonder what KT's investing into here, but this is not the answer. He's taken a page out of the BenImortal playbook here and being irresponsible with his siege. You're not the Mongols. You're not the Mongols, my man. Oh, my cam has frozen in a very, very funny position. That is interesting. Thanks for telling me. As you're not the yeah, as he's not the Mongols, I want to make some advertisement as a Mongol connoisseur. If anybody knows emotes artists that can make prettier race car onager emotes, feel free to contact me. And yeah, he's not the Mongols. You can't just race around there and kite out the enemy crossbowmen or skirmishers in this case. I'll see if I can fix the cam. Maybe I can fix that. Alright, I don't think I can fix it at this point anymore for this stream. But I tried. I tried. Okay. We've still got camels coming in. We've still got helps on the other side. We'll see. We'll see how this ends for our boy KT. I'm not the firmest believer in the army comp that he's chosen. He's relying heavily on gold. He's now getting the final upgrades, alright. But with the bombard cannons, I'm not sure that's going to be enough. He still has the onagers sniping away at those skirmishes. And the bombard cannon warfare is big in this one, but every gold unit that KT loses is pretty much irreplaceable at this point. Just the 2 relics. That's difficult, really, to rebuild. He's gonna lose that onager. It seems like big shot by the enemy bombard cannon. Still somehow keeping it alive with the repairs. Is he actually gonna... Oh no! Oh, what is this? He's actually winning with the one onager. It's one onager against the world here on a mission. Finally, the trap is the one who takes him out. Oh, that is hilarious. Wow, what a clip. Ends up killing. What was that? I should have looked at the kills on that onager. But those skirmishes definitely walking away with some nightmares here. And he's getting raided. I completely missed that. Oh boy. I completely missed that. That was my bad. That's probably where all the food investment went into. Great job by KT. He's taken out a lot of villages via just classic good old Hussar raids. 23 kills on those remaining Hussars here. And they're taking yet more villages. It's 64 wills for Ben. Luckily, he's got 14,000 food in the bank, so this literally shouldn't dent his eco one bit. But it is scary. It really is. And again, Ben is a little bit paralyzed by the enemy assault here. I love the fact that Katie's not giving up and that he's actually, or she, I shouldn't keep saying he, I guess, if I don't know who it is. Either way, this player is putting in some work here in a really difficult situation. The last-ditch effort with the Hussar raid, it was pretty effective, killing like 25 enemy wolves at least, but at this point the resources are already in for Ben, so it shouldn't really matter all that much. He should be able to push this one through, right? I mean, he's got the helps, so even if the Hussars ended up coming for his main bulk of the army, he's well equipped to deal with that. More onagers though, and that has proven to be the kryptonite so far of Ben. So maybe that is what Katie needs in order to come back in this one. He's now getting all the eco upgrades. Is he, in a sick twist of events, he's still gonna come back in this one? That would be absolutely massive. Let's see what he can do. He's got a lot of crossbowmen here. He's walking into the siege fire. Oh, huge shots. And all the onagers are still on the way forward. I think he's losing it here. I think he might actually be throwing away the game at this point. Well, not that he was in a great spot either way. I'm just saying, I think that might have been his last hope. The onagers still getting good shots on the skirmishers. Finally, he's landing another good one. And the crossbowmen. I wonder why the skirmishers don't continue firing at this point. Alright, he's spreading them out a bit more. That is a really good trade. Just losing 4 skirmishers on the top for that one onager. The bombard cannon with a lot more Pierce armor, though, is proving a more formidable opponent. And now some cavalry coming in for KT again. He's mixing it up. He's trying to take out the enemy bombard cannons, and I think he's gonna get them. He's still taking positive trades somehow, Ben. Is he about to fumble this catch? He's looking like he's in a bit of a difficult situation right now. He doesn't know how to handle this huge crossbow and siege mass. He needs to be a bit more crafty with those skirmishes, I believe, because he's got the tools at his disposal. Let's see if he can bring it home. At this point, he's throwing away a lot of units, and the crossbowmen are racking up more kills. It's 50 kills on this army for KT right now. He's flanking the skirmishers as well, and he could get a lot of value out of this one. At least some halberdiers in the back line for Ben in order to kind of soften the impact of this cavalry charge, but I don't think it's enough. I feel like he's going to lose the majority of these skirmishers. Still, it's skirmishes against crossbowmen, so he should still be able to clean this up. Or am I wrong about this? Still more hussars coming in. And the halberdiers are kind of lacking in numbers. There's no forward barracks. Oh, there's the forward barracks. But, yeah, they are a bit slow getting on over. I don't know. This is such an interesting one. You're absolutely correct. Dozens of light cav in production for both sides here. And while KT was able to harass the enemy economy a little bit with that, not a single unit of the Byzantines has been inside the enemy walls. Or well, inside the enemy eco all game. Not that there was a huge eco to speak of, but I'm just saying, perception-wise, if I'm Ben, I feel like I'm getting outplayed here because I've been harassed constantly. I'm taking bad trades, and I feel like I should be in a winning position. but I just can't find the angles. Maybe just take a big breather here. Reconsider the options. Reconsider what's been going wrong here. Just shore up on that army composition. Keep the helps in front of these skirmishers. Maybe mix in a mangonel to yourself just to be able to clear out the enemy crossbows if he ever makes another 60 stack. Although I am well aware of how difficult it is to defend siege against mass enemy light cav. Maybe just more halberdiers comparatively is the answer here. He's got 39 skirmishers and he's halted production of them. You can see now the impact of the enemy economy raids, honestly. He's got pretty few total res left over. I know he's queued up a lot of units, so all those 14,000 food, they're still in his inventory indirectly. But the wood is a little bit low, so that's why the skirmisher and the halberdier production is a little bit hampered. I wonder why he's got only 30 on wood. He's got this huge wood line that he could be farming on, but instead he's got more of them on food, despite already having so much food in his bank. I think redistributing that eco a little bit would go a long way at this point. Oh, I don't know. I don't think KT has the means in order to win this one, but so far Ben hasn't had the I don't want to say the skill. He hasn't pulled it off, right? He hasn't been capable. Yeah, I don't know. He's still gonna win this one. I believe in him, right? He's maneuvered himself into a good spot. He's probably not a big arena player since it was KT's home map, of all things. Surely Ben is going to be able to bring this one home and pull off a minor upset here. But still, on the enemy's home map, that is going to be a victory that feels great for him if he's able to perform it and pull it off. In come the light cav, and again, that's going to be a good trade for KT on the surface. Let's see if he can take out those halberdiers. He really needs those crossbows to hit the enemy halberdiers. Don't think he's going to be able to do it, though. It looks like finally his front line has been broken. Is this the breaking point of the Persians here? Are the skirmishers finally going to be able to push through and take out the last remaining crossbows? It doesn't look like it, honestly. The halberdiers are falling in again, and this front line, you just need a beefier one if you're Ben here. Yeah, time and again you're losing these fights because your front line collapses first, and then your skirmishers get taken out by enemy onagers. But it looks like this time around his numbers were just big enough in order to win the engagement. Persia still having to retreat further. He's pulling out another onager, and that has been the kryptonite of Ben. Absolutely massive shots there have come in from KT in the past. Let's see if he can recreate that. He's gonna need some good ones if he wants to stay alive here. It's not over yet, but it's surely close as the trebuchet runs into the castle fire. Oh, that's a big loss. That's a big loss, and again, it's a demoralizer, so much so that Ben pulls back the forces once more. And he can't find the angle. He can't find the entrance here into the enemy base. Beige, you're absolutely right. You joined an hour into the game and still it hasn't been decided, and there's been multiple swings back and forth. Elephants. Oh boy, you're right. You're right. I said it at the start of the game. I said it after 45 minutes. I loved when he added in those first elements because honestly, it's one of the most beautiful units in the game. And he's going back to them. Is he gonna get the unique tech too? Again, I keep forgetting. They have 0.66 movement speed. Surely that's not with the unique tech, right? Surely the faster moving elephants would be faster than 0.66. I'm not an expert here in elephant studies, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. At this point, you really want that upgrade though, because that castle is about to go down for the third time. Oh, he's gonna lose this one again. And I don't think he's going to be able to take out the enemy siege before he loses the castle. Or is he? He's committing the onager and a lot of crossbows. The hussars coming in a little bit late, but the bombard cannons have been pulled all the way back from Ben, so no, he's actually not fully committing for this castle, and the elephants are going to be continued to build up. Onager survives, but huge shot. What was that? Was that a trebuchet with his dying breath? Taking out the enemy Onager. That is absolutely massive, not because an Onager is impossible to replace, but because that is the kryptonite here for our friend BenImortal. Well, he's been immortal. Luckily, you can't see my smug face right now. He's definitely BenImortal in this game, defending for the first hour or so. But now KT is also proving to be difficult to take out himself. Oh, mate. What is this? Again, the Hussars able to find their way into the enemy skirmishes. This time around, at least, there's enough halberdiers to take a positive trade resource-wise. 116 kills on this army mass of Ben. The crossbows, on the other hand, 47. And keep in mind that they keep dying and being rebuilt. We're definitely in the thousands already here in terms of total casualties. Oh no, here's the KD. All right. The total casualties are in the thousands already. It is a difficult one, definitely, to assess here for both sides, because they feel like they've hit a brick wall at this point. I've been there. We've all been there in Arena. However, I feel like it's difficult, if I'm KT, it's difficult to justify playing on much longer here if I'm not able to make a huge dent in the enemy eco or wipe out his army, because it's not going to get any better for him. All he's got left is, I guess, this elephant play. He doesn't have any gold anymore, doesn't have any more stone. If he loses that castle, he can't make any more of them. Thus, no more elephants either. Of course, he's got still a lot of wood and farm space left, but I'm just saying, it's difficult for him. He needs something to happen soon, otherwise, he's probably gonna end up folding here. The poor guy, he's invested so much energy into this series too, I'm sure, and what a disappointment it would be going out in round one. Of course, that's what we all are trying to avoid. About to lose one of these war elephants, it looks like. He's trying to sneak around with the Hussars again. It's going to be another Hussar raid. 24 Hussars into the enemy eco. I don't think that has been spotted yet by Ben. He's clicking forward and trying to get in, all the while he's being raided at home. I feel like that's gonna turn out exactly like it did last time. He's able to take out the castle this time, though, isn't he? Oh, just barely not able to get the last hit. How unfortunate is that? And now another wave for Hussars in his eco. Don't tell me this is how Ben is gonna lose it. He's kind of overcommitting here with the halberdiers in the enemy eco, but he's losing a lot of them, and he's not been able to take out the castle. Had he just suicided his bombard cannons for that, I think that might have been a good idea. He's losing villagers at home, left, right, and center. Oh, and he's now being pushed back in the middle as well. Is this the craziest turnaround in Pick Your Poison tournament history? It's ought to be. Oh, man. The Onager as well. The Onager of Doom about to... Please, start hitting the skirmishes. Alright, maybe we just look somewhere else. What a douche. He's now taken out the enemy villages, continuing to get absolutely devastating raids in, and oh, Ben has got to be shaking in his boots right now. He's losing his eco, he's losing the entire edge on this game, because exactly what I said should happen has happened. He's lost his army and he's lost a big part of his eco. Now, he's still in a pretty fine spot. He's got a lot of rest banked up. He's still Byzantines with a better army composition as far as I'm concerned. If KT is winning this one, that's the biggest upset in this tournament history. I'm calling it right here. Having watched 2 series, I'm absolutely positive about that. It's the biggest turnaround game, if it ends up coming through. I still can't see it happening, though. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you beat Byzantines in this game state with the Persians. I just don't see it. He's losing crossbows time and time again. I mean, at least he's Persians, right? So those crossbows don't effectively cost anything. But, well, it's not like the opponent's army costs anything either. He's at 58 villages, Ben is. He's got a lot of bombard cannons, yet more queued up. He's got 100 trash units queued up on top of the 130 of them that he's got in the field. Another Hussar raid is coming out right now, but it's already been spotted. Maybe this time around Ben can prepare at home and save a lot more of his villagers. He's preparing for yet another push at the very same time that the Hussars are entering his base. Good response with the Halberdiers. He's going to have to clean that up soon, though, before another big part of his villager economy dies. He's about to take out a town center with the bombard cannons. Could this be the game-ending push finally? We're approaching the 2-hour in-game time mark. The skirmishers are hitting away at the enemy, but again, he's not careful with it. He doesn't keep the halberdiers in front of the skirmishers, and thus a few of them are going down to the hussars. At least he's taken out that town center as well as the castle at the top. The elephants are still stood there, not really doing a whole lot, and the eco raids are continuing, but they are definitely pale in comparison to whatever is going on here in the home base of KT. He's being completely smothered right now. Camel's coming out again. I don't know what his angle is, really. It's looking like he's finally being taken out. At the top, the pikemen or the halberdier, the skirmisher raids. He's just standing under the town centers at this point, and it's all starting to fall apart for good here, it feels. Those last few hussars, I don't think they can make up for what has been done to KT's home front. He's still getting out more crossbows from the west, but all of this is going to be cleaned up. At this point, he has finally broken. The critical mass has been reached by BenImortal, and another town center goes down. The Persians, it's 65 versus 42 villagers. It is how I like to see my arena games end, where everybody just full commits into military and doesn't really care that much about his eco anymore. But I feel like at this point we have a pretty clear victor here. Those 10 elephants, I don't know. Well, he's sending them forwards right now. Maybe you get to see what you're here for. They are pretty slow though. I don't think he's got that upgrade. Yeah, I don't think they can do a whole lot, right? I mean, he's got a ton of pikemen at home. I feel like those pikemen just win, but I don't know. Maybe elephants are just that OP. No, I don't see it. He doesn't have any part of the map under his control anymore. He's sending a lot of villages forward. Maybe he's trying to get a TC somewhere, but no, he doesn't have anything for that. Yeah, he's putting another TC, but that's well within vision of the Byzantines. The house wall is going to be spotting that so soon. 40 villagers on both sides, but the army sizes are what is differentiating these two players right now. Man, Ben, good job here, not folding under the pressure. And this surely is going to end sooner rather than later. The 5 elephants, 5 of them got lost on the way, but 5 of them now starting to somewhat harass the enemy. But yeah, as I said, there's enough halberdiers to surely deal with that one, right? And even if you take out the enemy TC and more villages, it doesn't really accomplish anything, does it? Oh, yeah, KT now finally throwing in the towel. Man, huge respect to both of these guys for the fight they put up here. That was a banging arena game. I hope my own arena games will be shorter in the tournament, I can't lie. But that's it for this series. It's also going to be it for the stream today. I really hope I can be back tomorrow, although I have got a lot of school to attend. KT sadly not able to close this one out. And for BenImortal, it's a reverse sweep here in this best of 3. A slight upset maybe in terms of seeding, but really just a great series overall. Maybe let's take a look at the stats at this point. Those casualties, 2,000 units killed in total. I mean, it is just mayhem, as anticipated. KT within with interesting eco numbers. They were really comparable in the end, but of course, very cheap units there for the Byzantines makes it much more impressive. Rather useful. Was a GG. Well played to both guys, yeah. Congrats to Ben, definitely, and thanks to KT for participating. Sadly, I won't be able to play against him in the battle. Maybe I'll be able to meet Ben in the finals if we both get there. Otherwise, good luck to him going forward nonetheless. This was a great game and a great series. But it is going to be it for me today. This is going to go up on YouTube in about 24 hours. And I will see everybody tomorrow or on Friday at the very latest with another Pick Your Poison stream. Hopefully with one of my games or with my first series soon as well. But I don't have any info on that just yet. Thanks everybody for coming out here and spending some time with me. It was great watching these games. So I continue to get more familiar with Capture Age and with the players in this tournament as well. And yeah, take care everybody. I'll catch you soon.